Hi, Dr. Fixmaster here. Today we're going to fix my microwave oven. As you can see, the handle has broken off of it. And once again, we're victims of this whole concept of load-bearing plastic just being designed into, something as sophisticated as a microwave oven. And it's rendered useless because of a piece of garbage plastic. So we're going to take care of that today. So as you can see, the handle is broken off. I'm going to try to zoom in here so you can have a look at it. But the screws are embedded in this plastic. You pull on the handle enough times, eventually the handle just comes right off. So that's what it looks like. And the story, quick story, is Sears Parts Direct, where I get parts for this thing. Had a notice on there that these handles are no longer made. You can't get a replacement of any kind. So you're stuck. You can either go buy a new one. Hopefully you won't do that, because who wants to buy a brand new piece of equipment like that when it's just a piece of garbage plastic that broke? So here's the fix. The fix is take the handle off. Basically, I used a 1/4 inch drill bit to drill all the way through the handle. The handle used to not have a hole on this side. So I used the old screw hole and I drilled all the way through it, and I'm going to run metal bolts through there to do the fix. First thing that you have to do is take this bezel off of the door, and you can do that just by putting a putty knife or a screwdriver or some other straight edge underneath there, and then you can just pry it out, and you work your way around slowly and it just pops out. There's little clips all the way around. Those come out pretty easily, but you do have to be careful because, once again, it's covered with plastic, and plastic gets old, it gets brittle, and it could shatter, so just be careful with it. Probably a putty knife is the best way to go with that. Once you have that cover off, then you have access to where the screw holes go through. So I've got one there, and I've got one up here, and I've already removed the screws. There are just a couple of Phillips screws in there. The one on the top and the one on the bottom are different sizes. I ended up drilling that hole out with a 1/4 inch drill bit. This one didn't need drilling up on the top, but the one on the bottom I drilled it out. This isn't going to be the prettiest fix, but when you have no choice but to try to find some other it's just a guessing game. If you want to order other handles, you'd have to get the dimensions and everything else, but I just decided I would use the old handle, pay nothing, and just put a couple of bolts through it. They're actually machine screws. I've got them here. These are 2 inches long. They're 1/4 inch Phillips head on the top. So those are going to come through in this shot from your right through the door and then out the front of the microwave with the end sticking out. And then I'm just going to thread a nut on the end of it, put some Loctite on it, paint it up so that it looks nice, and that will be a good solid, better than the original equipment, structurally and functionally, even though cosmetically it's not going to look the greatest, but at least I'll have a working handle on my microwave. This is what it looks like with the machine screws threaded through. You can see from the back of the door where the old screw was, you can just thread it right through with the holes that you drilled. And I had to bend this little piece of metal out of the way to get the screw in there, but I'm just going to push on it, bend it back in place, and then we're good to go. You can see the head of the screw way back in there. So on this end, there's not quite enough room to put the nut on here because it's a curved handle, and it won't align properly to thread on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt a little space around this machine screw. I don't think I have to do it on the top, but I might do it anyway, just because the flatter that nut gets, the more cosmetically nice it's going to be. But down here it's essential, or otherwise I would not be able to get the nut on there. And to accomplish that, this is probably considered by electronics people as abuse to a soldering iron, but I'm going to use the tip of a soldering iron to just melt a little flat place around that machine screw so that so that the nut goes on there properly. Okay, melting those holes didn't work very well, but what worked better is this Dremel attachment. So I just Dremeled off a flat place there for the bolt, for the nut to sit, sorry, and on the other side as well. Okay, I snapped the back cover back in place and tightened those screws down. That's what it looks like. It's not as elegant looking as the original, but certainly stronger than the original. There you go. Perfectly functional. I'm going to paint those now with just a black paint, and hopefully that'll make it look a little nicer. Okay, I've got them all taped up. Got a cup, put a hole in the bottom of it so that I can cover everything else. I'm worried about overspray, so I'm just going to do it like that. Where's that bolt? Right there. So I'm going to do it like that so I don't overspray in my kitchen. And there's the finished product. It isn't beautiful, but it works. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this useful, please subscribe, and happy fixing.